Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I really do appreciate your time. I just wanted to really quickly come on here and talk about what I am noticing is like an unfortunate upkick of the different women that I follow on YouTube putting out videos sharing that they're getting divorced or what their life is like now that they're divorced. I find this to be very alarming, and it really does like freak me out a little bit, honestly. I just wanted to quickly talk about what I think is going on and just give any encouragement to women who are currently married, who are in a not so great season in your marriage, as well as just really commend these women for coming out and giving their honest, open experiences, choosing to be vulnerable, choosing to be truthful. What I think is even more commendable is choosing to have an authentic life that they share with us rather than trying to stay married because they know that's what everyone expects of them, or because it looks good, as them being influencers to have the life, the husband, the kids, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's very commendable for them to decide to live a life that's better for them, that makes them happier, makes them better mothers, makes them better women. So I started to notice different women were posting videos, right? So Ronke just posted a video, I think 2 days ago. Then a little bit before that, Tiara J had posted a video doing the same type of thing, kind of resetting what her expectations for her subscribers would be. Chanel Bontag, she's the same exact thing. Cosmoholics Anonymous, aka Botox. So I'm just noticing like so many of these ladies are really like, they're choosing to be single mothers rather than staying in relationships that no longer serve them. And I just wanted to quickly talk about this because I feel like one of the questions that you oftentimes will hear people speak about on social media, hear people talking about, is how come our grandparents' marriages seem to last so long, whereas our marriages today, they're over in 5 years, 7 years. A lot of people are not making it past the 10-year mark. And so I will oftentimes see conversations being held. People are discussing like, what are the factors? What changed this? What changed the outcome? What do we need to add to the equation? What do we need to take out of the equation so that we have longer marriages? And I think what's very crucial is first and foremost, our grandparents did not have the various sources of stimuli that we have in today's time. Like we have, of course, social media. There's so many different ways for you to meet and interact with somebody in real life or virtually, should you choose. And those were not things our grandparents had to overcome. Now, things like cheating and having outside families and, drinking and abuse and all of those things are still the same. But there's more outside sources of distractions or things that really can become a stumbling block to your marriage. And I think that's a crucial key. Also, we have to remember that in most cases, our grandmothers in particular were in marriages where they weren't supporting themselves. They had no means to take care of their own selves or their children, and to leave their husband, she would, essentially be ushering herself as well as any children into poverty. So a lot of our nanas, our grandmoms, our grannies, they chose to stay married because it just made more sense in the end to stick it out, to wait till he died, or any other various manner of dissolving the marriage, because it just made more sense to do that. It was safer, and it proved to be a better way of supporting, your kids, their kids. And I don't think a lot of the times we spend our time to really think about what that would do, like like removing those parameters, what that would change. And this kind of makes me get into my next point, is why are the reasons that people are getting married? Completely aside from the young ladies whose videos I'm, talking about and referencing, I think a lot of times, especially nowadays, people get married for all the wrong reasons. People are not getting married because they have found someone that they really do feel they get along with, and they're getting married under the best circumstances as possible. A lot of times, I think both men and women are getting married because it seems like the next logical step, or because they have a lot of pressure from their parents and their families. Maybe not so much in the Black community, but in other communities, if you're not married by a certain age, man or woman, people start looking at you crazy. People start looking at you strange. And in a lot of circles in corporate America and like sort of the higher up career placement, if you don't have a wife and kids, or if you don't have a husband and kids, you're kind of looked at as, well, how stable can you really be? How trustworthy are you? We can't see any evidence that you know how to be loyal to a family, be loyal to another person. So that can impact how they consider you for certain promotions. So there's a lot of pressure. And then you have social media. You have these couples who oftentimes are portraying us, a perfect, spotless, lovey-dovey relationship. And you have people thinking, well, why can't I do that? What's wrong with me? Why, I want to have a perfect lovey-dovey relationship too. So I'm going to go ahead and marry this person, or only be with this person because they make me look good. They make me look happy. Because you go through the whole thing of getting attention, the whole engagement pictures. It's like a whole thing, right? Like it's a whole things. I think that is particularly why, some of the reasons why at least, I think so many people are getting married for the wrong reasons. They're not getting married because, like I said, that they think this is the best decision for them, or it's something they really want to do. They're getting married based off of outside pressures that really aren't a part of what their actual motivation is. And I think that's how you 100% set yourself up to fail. And I think that a lot of times people who are married, that are in successful marriages, do not openly share about what it's like to be married, what it takes to be married, because there's so many parts of being married, should I say, because there's so many parts of being married that are difficult, that can be shameful, that can be embarrassing and stressful. And if other people knew the truth about what you were dealing with, or about what you accepted, or about what you have to constantly deal with, people would look at you differently. You know what I'm saying? And this is why whenever I have the opportunity to speak to somebody about marriage, I always try to make it very clear. While I am happy in my marriage, ultimately, I have absolutely come through some storms in my marriage. I've had some very difficult, hard times with my husband. Our first year in particular was very hard because he had just started his business. It was not ideal at all. There were some issues with his family overstepping and him allowing them to overstep. So there were just a ton of different things that were really, frankly, attacking our brand new marriage, that had we not had people to lean on and support us, and had God not intervened by, again, bringing us those people and helping us just get through a lot of those hard times, I wouldn't be sitting here married before you today. But I will say that what I have learned is marriage is all about deciding what you want to do every single day, how much you want to commit to your relationship, what you want to bring, what choices that you want to make. Because everything that you do is a choice, whether you realize it or not. And it can either edify and fortify and build up your marriage and strengthen your marriage and make your marriage more loving and more beautiful, bring you guys closer together. Or you can make decisions that constantly tear you apart, brick by brick. Break down your foundation, the very things that you love about each other. You can literally make daily choices that irritate your spouse, that get under their skin, and wear away at their patience, wear away at their love, wear away at their understanding, until they get to a certain point where they're just like, I don't care about these kids, I don't care about this marriage, I don't care about the time I've spent and put in, all the money, blood, sweat, and tears I invested. Just get away from me. I don't care. I will deal with whatever comes, because I just can't do this with you anymore. And that is what I think a lot of people don't really realize, is that you can choose to have a better marriage and you can choose to have a worse marriage. And it is a choice. You have to choose. You have to be intentional with your motivation. And I think a lot of people, when they are married, they take a lot of things for granted. Men and women, they take a lot of things for granted. They think doing things over and over again that their spouse don't like, instead of relying on the fact that, oh, I know my spouse is faithful to me, they're loyal to me, not going to leave me over this. People take advantage of that. Instead of thinking like, oh, wow, like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do this. I don't want to wear out your patience, because everybody has a bottom line. Everyone is not long suffering. And everyone, like I said earlier, women don't have to stay in relationships anymore if they don't feel like it's serving them, if they don't feel like it's giving them what they need. You know, if they feel like single married women, if they feel abused, if they feel taken advantage of, they're tired of being disrespected, they're tired of being overlooked, they're tired of, you know, having someone completely have disregard for their feelings. Why would a woman in this society stay in a marriage where she can leave and choose to be alone or choose to be with somebody else? And vice versa. It's the same thing with men. We don't have to stay with each other anymore for survival or because, you know, there's nothing else to do. We don't live in that society anymore. And so I think what's happening, why there is this, appears to be a trend of different influencers and women on YouTube who make content getting divorced, is because they see other women doing it and they're like, well, I'm looking at what I got going on and I don't like it either. And I think it's starting an effect where women are saying, I see Cosmoholics Anonymous didn't stay with her husband. Why should I? I see Tiara J didn't stay with her husband. What am I doing still here? I see Ronke left her husband and she has 2 little kids, 2 babies, both under 4. Listen, I could do it too. If that turns out to be the best option for you, I 100% support it. I 100% agree. I don't think anyone should stay in a relationship, regardless of the level of commitment, where you feel it is a waste of your time. It's draining you and tearing you down. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. My last point before I go is, marriage is not something you can do half-assed. Marriage is not something that you can scrape by with, you know, kind of be a non-active participant. You can't do that. That's not marriage. Marriage, like I said, requires daily, conscientious, intentional choices to affect your spouse and your kids so that you have a certain type of marriage, a certain quality of marriage. So if that's not something that you want to do, and this is why you'll always hear me pushing this in any of these videos that I make about these type of topics, is you have to know yourself, and you have to know what it is that you want to do, and you have to know what's actually important to you. What can you maintain for a very long time? What's sustainable for you as a person? And if being married to this particular person is not something that's sustainable, then you shouldn't do it. If being married in general is not something that's sustainable, you shouldn't do it. Because marriage is not one of those things where you can just slide by day in, day out, barely aware of what's going on, not doing your best, not trying, not giving effort. It's not one of those type of things. You have to show up to have a successful marriage. You have to be involved to have a successful marriage. You're going to have to argue. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have to find compromise. You're going to have to find every little day, little ways that you can survive with one person for the rest of your life, if that's what you want. That's what marriage is. And in the in-between, all the love and the romance that you have, that is going to be a direct way to detect if you're trying. And you could be in a situation where you are trying and your spouse isn't. And even still, that's not a situation I would say in either. And then it comes down to, well, how long do you want to stay to give this person an opportunity? That's what I'm saying. Everything is a choice. Everything is a choice, and you have to know yourself well enough to know which choice you want to make. All right? Well, that's all I have to say on this topic. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and have your notifications bell turned on so you don't miss any of my uploads. Comment below if you are feeling what I'm saying, or if you have any reactions to the things that I was saying in this video, if there's anything that I missed, or anything that you may want to just share about marriage in general. I'm a pro-marriage person, so I'm not going to really entertain people just bashing marriage in general. Like I said, it's a choice. You can either participate or you cannot. It's up to you. But yes, let me know how you feel down below, and take care.